Well, maybe you saw the turtle come out and try to save face. Mitch McConnell, this afternoon, about 3 o'clock Eastern Time, he made the announcement that, well, there's not going to be a Senate replacement bill for Obamacare after all, at least not now. McConnell had to deal with a lot of intransigent Republican opposition. Christ, I would hope to shout. I mean, when you consider the Republican senators from certain states, for example, I've been talking about this the past 3 or 4 days, but a state like Alaska, why in the hell would Lisa Murkowski vote to take Medicaid away, which is what she'd be voting to do, and take the Affordable Care Act away from thousands upon thousands of the people who voted her into office, who rely on Medicaid, who rely on the Affordable Care Act to provide medical coverage for them? What kind of a moron does McConnell think Murkowski is? And she's just one. So this is, I know this isn't about the orange asshole in the White House, but in a way it is, because that's all they talked about during the campaign. We're going to replace it with the most wonderful, beautiful, smooth, round, glistening health insurance imaginable. Everybody's going to be covered. We're not going to touch Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. We'll never touch it. And the health insurance we're going to give you to replace this rancid, rotten, filthy Obamacare is going to be beautiful. There will be bluebirds flying around it, and rainbows, and little elves and fairies dancing. Really? You freak? So call it an embarrassing setback for the orange asshole. This was the keystone of his fascist, moronic agenda. Of course, he doesn't have an agenda. What he had during the campaign was a bunch of bullshit talking points that he figured he could convince the rubes that he was serious. And convince them he did. He didn't win the popular vote, but he convinced enough of them in key states that our archaic electoral system gave the presidency to him. Republican leaders in the Senate, including the turtle, God, that guy turns my stomach, Mitch McConnell. Why do so many Southern Republican men, white men, have these little pursed lip smiles that they do? You know, they get, Sessions has it, McConnell has it, Sonny Perdue had it. I mean, it just goes on and on. That little. So anyway, McConnell came out today and he said, well, no go. These Republican leaders had hoped to take a passage, or a page, I should say, from the playbook that the scum and the swine in the U.S. House used to get their bill over the line. And that was appeasing the most conservative members of their conference while pressuring moderates to fall in line with, a little payola, little grease. Got some grease here for you. McConnell was very quick to point out, as this thing was released 5 days ago, that it included $200 billion to reduce the deficit. I have the deficit or the national debt. I guess the deficit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. But what he meant was he had $200 billion in a slush fund to use to bribe people like Lisa Murkowski and Rob Portman and some of these other Republican senators from states that are just desperate to continue getting Medicaid, to continue the funding for opioid addiction that is driving this country right into a detox ward, the entire country. I don't know what McConnell was thinking. Well, I do know what he was thinking. He realizes that there's so many people in this country who vote Republican. Even though, as I've said for 25 years, the Republicans have never done anything for their constituency, much less the people of the United States, to warrant a vote for them. And since they continue to vote Republicans into office on the state level, the county level, the national level, I mean, we just have a abundance of white male Christian Republicans. They're coming out of the goddamn woodwork. They're like roaches. They're just skittering all over the place. So I guess McConnell figured, since the American public is so goddamn stupid, because McConnell knows that the Republicans have done nothing for the American people since Lincoln. Nothing.